No matter how good of a man you are, you will never be good enough for an immature woman. Some women cannot appreciate good men, and it's not your job to love them until they do.
This is how you lose a good man fast, because some of you are praying for the man of your dreams, but when he shows up, you're the one driving him away. The fastest way to repel a man of value is disrespect. If you embarrass him, talk down to him in front of others, he is done. Men will tolerate a lot, but they will not tolerate a woman who kills their respect. The second way is chaos. If being with you feels like a full-time job filled with drama, constant arguments, mood swings, and tests, he will not stay. A man of value does not want a second battlefield at home. He wants peace. And the third way, controlling everything. If you won't let him lead, won't trust him to make decisions, won't respect him as a whole man, then what's the point? He is not going to fight for you. He'll just leave. See, you can be beautiful, successful, and independent, but if you are disrespectful, chaotic, and controlling, no man of value will stick around. They just won't. He doesn't need to. He has options, and he will walk away from a woman who drains him. So if you really want to attract and keep the man of your dreams, don't be the woman who destroys him. Be the woman who builds him up. Be the woman who adds peace, respect, admiration, and passion, because the truth is, high-value men don't waste their time where they are not valued. And if you don't get that right, you won't just repel him. You're going to lose him forever and be alone with your cats.
The worst thing that you can do is finally find a good guy and then get comfortable with all of the great things he's doing for you. You don't show appreciation. And it is so easy to make a man feel appreciated because they literally never get compliments. I mean, you can compliment him on the most random thing. Like, you could tell him, "I like your neck," and that would last him a year. Trust me.
You ever notice how women will punish good men because they're good men? I recently called out women for reserving most of their disrespect for the men they're dating. And I actually wound up in a conversation with a girl in my friend group about the topic. This was her rationale. Yeah, I guess that's kind of true, but that's just because we feel more comfortable around you. Like, we know you're not gonna get angry or do anything bad to us. Disclaimer. I really like this girl, and I know she thinks she's being complimentary with this reasoning, but I had to explain to her that if she completes the circle of that thought process, she will land on the realization that she is being disrespectful to a man because he is good. And I know that a ton of women rationalize their behavior like this in the same way. Newsflash, we do get angry. We just don't act on it. Why? Because we're good. This is why good men shut down in relationships instead of fighting you. They become what they believe is the least dangerous and most peaceful versions of themselves in these moments. So ladies, I'm not saying you're bad people. I'm just saying that this is a thing you do that you should change.
I am so sick of hearing guys say girls only want assholes. They don't ever want to date the nice guy. This is the biggest misconception in dating. You have to realize these girls have had trauma. They have been with a guy that has verbally or physically abused them. Their relationship has been like a roller coaster, ups and downs, and so they get used to the toxicity. So when a nice guy comes along, they get bored. They're not used to this. They don't want this kind of relationship, a healthy relationship. They want the toxicity because that's all they know. So if you hear a girl say, "Oh, I don't want to be with the nice guy, I like the asshole," or blah, 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 think to yourself, well, this is probably not a girl you want to be in a relationship with because she has a lot of trauma. Now, don't get me wrong. There is a difference between being a simp and a nice guy. But if you are genuinely a nice person and some girl is like, "Oh, I don't want to be with him because of that," her loss, not a high value girl. Move on.
Ladies, this one's gonna sting, but most of the time it is not men ruining relationships. It is women sabotaging themselves. But first, let me explain. First is the victim mindset. If every argument turns into "poor me, look what you did to me," you're not resolving the conflict. You're dodging accountability. Second, attention addiction. If you need outside validation, likes, stares, DMs to feel secure, you'll never be happy with the man that you're with. Third, lack of self-worth. If you drag your unhealed trauma into a relationship but refuse to face it and deal with it, you're making your partner pay for damage that they did not cause. These aren't just little habits. They are relationship killers. They destroy trust, create resentment, and eventually push away the man or woman you claim to love. And the hard truth, a lot of women would rather blame men than admit that they're guilty of these patterns. So before you say men are the problem, ask yourself, am I sabotaging my own relationship? Try to ask yourself that. If you're brave enough to admit that, you will change everything. If not, you're going to repeat the same cycle. Drop your take in the comments. I know this one is going to get a little heated.
Ladies, where have all the good men gone? Do you want to know where they went? They have retreated to their homes. Do you want to know why? Because the good men are the ones that have put in so much effort and had women trash them for putting in the effort. They've had women take advantage of them because they want to be a gentleman, they want to open the doors, they want to pay for your dinner, and you just expect that that is supposed to happen. The idea that you should have multiple men pandering after you just to see which one is the best is atrocious. And this is coming from someone who very clearly wants traditional values in a man and in a relationship. But I am not going to be ignorant to the idea that I'm going to have to contribute something to that relationship too. I am going to have to put in the effort as well. I'm going to have to be able to communicate and have conversation and be really comfortable with who I am, but at the same time understand that if I want a man to be comfortable with himself, I am going to have to allow him the ability to feel comfortable when he is in my presence. None of this, oh, well, you have to do this and you need to do that, and if you don't handle this, then I'm out. Do I have expectations? Of course I have expectations. My expectations are rooted in having morals and values and being a gentleman and understanding what that means. That means that I am not taking advantage of them just so that I can get a date.
Women are always like, men don't appreciate shit. Men don't listen. Men are manipulators. Men are liars. Men don't change. Men don't do anything good. They don't understand me. They're not considerate. They're not compassionate. They're not anything. They just tolerate you because they have no one else. And as soon as they get someone else, they will leave you. But the worst part about it is instead of fixing themselves, they blame the men over and over again. They never look at themselves in the mirror and ask themselves, hey, did I show my man appreciation? Did I stop and get him something from the gas station on the way home? Like he would get me a Pepsi or a Red Bull or an energy drink? Was my way of communicating passive aggressive? Did I communicate it fairly? Have I shown any compassion or empathy to anything he has going on in his own mental health issues, or have I made it all about me? These women almost never take into consideration anything that a man has going on, and as soon as he cannot meet the goalpost every single time it changes, he's in the wrong. Even though these women do zero self-reflecting, and the only reason that a lot of these relationships are lasting as long as they do is because the men have not given up. And this is exactly why the divorce rate is so high. It's because men give and give and give and stay in relationships, and they're left with two options: either lose all of their shit or continue to tolerate the bullshit. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to continue to tolerate the bullshit until the women finally get sick of it and leave. A lot of these toxic ass women have zero accountability and zero sense of any kind of self-awareness or reflection, and you need to freaking run. Okay, bye.
I love how every woman is always talking about how they don't want to settle, they're not settling for less than they deserve. Okay, but honestly speaking, most of the women that are saying this don't really deserve much. Like, you guys are not a catch. You're living in this delusional world and you think that you deserve the world. You expect men to settle for you. And just because you have these unrealistic expectations and standards, why the hell should men settle for you when they actually deserve a whole lot better? And that's the reality, and that's why men are walking away from dating. Men just don't care to put in the effort anymore. Men are not going up to women anymore because men don't want to settle either. The funny thing is, men are actually more realistic about their expectations. Women are not.
I don't want to sound harsh by saying this, but men don't want extra drama that they don't need in their life. Men would rather be alone than with a woman who brings nothing more than drama into his life. And no, this doesn't mean that you can't come to him with your problems. This doesn't mean that you can't go to him when you're feeling bad or when you're feeling upset. This just means if that is all you're bringing to the relationship, it is simply not enough, especially for a good man who's going places in his life. If you want to lock down an amazing guy who has all the qualities you're looking for, who is driven, who is ambitious, who's going places in life, you need to be the kind of woman that he would want to be with. And the kind of woman he would want to be with is a woman who is self-controlled, who is emotionally stable, and who's able to support him and put him first in difficult times and not only come to him with all of your drama. You need to learn to be careful with what you say, when you say it, and how you say it. And remember that you need to bring assets into his life that are more than just your looks if you want to be with a man that is going places in life.
Most women might not even realize that they're pushing their man away until it's too late, until he's gone. Here's how you notice. It's not always cheating that drives men out. It's disrespect, constant negativity, emasculinizing him, belittling him, and making him feel like no matter what he does, it's never enough. When men feel drained instead of inspired, they don't explode. They retreat. They stop opening up. They stop putting in effort. They stop fighting for the relationship. And then the women play the victim, acting blindsided when he finally leaves. But the truth is, you created an environment where he couldn't thrive, where his presence felt like a burden instead of a blessing. And men will not stay where they feel unvalued, unseen, unappreciated. So if your man is pulling away, stop pointing the finger at him and look in the mirror. You might be the reason. Respect him, admire him, build him up instead of tearing him down, because the moment he realizes peace exists without you, he'll never come back. And that's a hard truth most women don't want to hear. My girls, let's be real about something. The biggest lie us women tell ourselves is that attention from other men is innocent. It's not innocent. Deep down, you know it's not innocent. Here's the truth. When you're in a relationship, every time you entertain DMs, flirt back, or keep that work husband around, you're chipping away at the loyalty that you claim to value in your current relationship. You can dress it up as just being friendly, but your man knows the difference. Respect does not get cloudy at all. It's very black and white. If you need validation from other men, you are already disrespecting your relationship. Loyalty isn't about not sleeping with somebody else. It's about guarding your energy, your attention, and your admiration for the man that you chose. So please stop lying to yourself. Attention is a form of intimacy. And if you're craving it elsewhere, do not call it loyalty. Call it for what it is. Disrespect. A real woman knows their worth, and they do not need random men to remind them.
I'm gonna be a pick me right now because we be knowing when our niggas unhappy. We just don't care. And that's the problem. I care, but y'all don't care. And that's the problem. Cause it's not fair. Cause we be knowing. Y'all energy change, y'all mood change, y'all vibe is different when y'all are unhappy. Y'all are I can tell when a man is depressed. I can tell when a man is depressed. I can tell when a man is unhappy with work, all of that stuff. I can tell. So if I could tell, y'all could tell. And y'all are selfish. So yeah.
Can we just take a second to recognize how nice it is to have a man that takes care of everything? A man that leads, takes control, and has the house in order? You don't even have to use your brain. You can just turn your brain off and then you can close your eyes and follow him blindly. And you trust and know that wherever he leads you, you'll be happy. Like, you're good. Anything and everything is already taken care of for you. He regularly plans date nights, makes the reservations, does all the planning. You don't even have to think about anything. He just tells you date, time, place, what to wear, and you're all set. There's no stress or confusion because he did all the planning. I don't have to worry about it. Even something as small as bringing me coffee in the morning, pumping my gas. He does these things without me even having to ask because he knows it makes me happy. A man who is masculine, a manly man, a guy who takes charge. I think that's one of the most attractive traits a man can have. A man who you don't have to ask to put energy towards you. You don't have to ask him if he's gotten things done. He's already done it. You can turn off your brain, close your eyes, and follow him blindly. He's got everything taken care of. What's great about this is it allows us women to be in our feminine energy because he's so masculine that we can go ahead and sit back and relax and be at peace. We can complement each other in our different roles. So if you have a man like this, make sure you recognize his good behavior and show him appreciation.
Every time she entertains another man, at work, at church, and especially on social media, if she is in a committed relationship with you, especially a marriage, it's disrespectful. And if you were doing the same thing, she'd have a damn fit. And you know she would, right? So why do you allow her to make you feel like you're trying to be controlling because you have these concerns?
Ladies, if you're in relation with someone and you're entertaining other men, do you know how dangerous and disrespectful that is? You're allowing them to sit up there and DM you. You're not cutting it off. You're having hee, kiki, kaka, little giggly conversations with them. You're flirting. You're dressing in certain ways and doing certain things and saying certain things that's drawing male attention to yourself. Do you know how dangerous and disrespectful that is? If you are not willing to be in relationship with this person, that's one thing, then go ahead and get out of it. But if you are being disrespectful in the manner of, entertaining other men, giving your social media out, giving your number out, it's unacceptable and it's disrespectful. Decide whether you want to be in a relation or whether you want to be single, because the two can't go hand in hand. Have a good day.
I figured it out. I know why good guys finish last. I already have a video about nice guys and how they're boring, if you want to go check that out in my earlier videos. But I have an analogy, and I think this might be easy for some people to grasp. When it comes to good guys, let's just say you say to them, hey, let's build a cake. I'm gonna make the cake, but you buy the items. They show up with just flour. And you look at them and say, where's the eggs? Where's the butter? Where's the icing? They will be screaming at you like, I brought the flour. That's all we need, the flour. And you're like, but how are we gonna make the cake with just flour? And then they'll try to convince you and go on and on as to why flour is the only thing that's necessary for building the cake. That's exactly how they are in relationships. They just bring the fact that they are loyal and faithful and think that's going to be enough to sustain a healthy, long-lasting relationship. As we all know, that is the bare minimum requirement to enter a relationship. You have to have a lot more about you that makes people even want to choose you. What else can you bring to the table that makes me feel like, you know what, I can sit here and eat here and for a very long time?
I don't care what anybody says, good people eventually get fucking tired of being good to ungrateful ass motherfuckers. Period. I don't give a fuck whether it's friends, whether it's family. Eventually, good people get fed the fuck up. And it's even more fucking hilarious when they hit you with that, you've changed. And instead of looking at that as such a negative thing, you can turn any dark situation into something positive. Because yes, motherfucker, you really did like me when I lacked self-awareness, self-respect, self-love, and had no fucking idea that you were truthfully taking full advantage of my fucking good heart. So yes, I've changed. I'm no longer gonna let you reap out of the benefit of me lacking my self-awareness. So if anything, yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for pushing me into discomfort, which eventually forced me to fucking grow. So yeah, I might still love you and have plenty of love for you, but with that also came learning how to love people from a distance.
Let me tell you this. If you can get my woman to sit around talking to you and entertaining you, then you can have her. Because I'm not going to sit back and be watching my woman all day and seeing what she's doing. No, I'm not doing that. If some dude can get in my woman's ear and she give him an inkling of any type of mindset that he can have her, then he can have her. See, I try to explain to women, you being nice, ain't nothing wrong with being nice to a person. But some of us men, we take that nice as, oh, she want me. So if you guys are having a conversation, you keep running back to that person to talk to that person, and I'm not talking about just having a regular conversation. I'm talking about as in that person's trying to get with you. Because the second these people try to get with you and you don't dead the conversation, then you want this attention. Then you know what? He can have you. So yeah.
Even if a woman is entertaining a conversation with another guy in a flirtatious way, that's almost equally as bad as the man physically cheating with somebody, because she's putting her emotional investment into that. And that also is a very strict red flag indicating that she doesn't have true respect for her man, which is probably one of the biggest things that you can have in a relationship is respect. And a woman will never cheat on her man if she fully respects him. She may not even love her man anymore and be in a relationship, but if she still has that respect for him, she's not gonna cheat while they're still together.
Listen, the biggest mistake a woman can make is taking a good man for granted, all because she believes she has options. Let's make something clear. Just because you've got men in your DMs doesn't mean any of them love you. Don't get it twisted, ladies. Attention is not affection, and desire is not devotion. A real man, listen, the kind of man that truly loves you, he's not easy to find, because that type of man, he listens to you, he protects you, he believes in you, he invests in your growth, and he stays consistent even when you're not at your best. But you know what happens many times? You know what we do as women many times? We don't play him. We compare him to the flashy guys. We compare him to the emotionally unavailable men. Sometimes they insult him, ignore him, manipulate him, treat him like he'll always be there. until he's no longer there. And then, when he finally walks away, that's when the realization kicks in. That's when you realize the truth. Those men in your inbox, they weren't really trying to build anything. They were just passing time. And now, the one who was ready to give you the world is gone. Listen, ladies, don't be fooled. Gifts aren't love. Sex isn't commitment. And good morning, beautiful, and those texts from strangers don't mean that you're being cherished. Sis, you can find a man who wants your body on every street. But a man who wants your soul, who wants to help you heal, who wants to build a future with you, that type of man is very rare. So if you've got a man who's consistent, who supports you, who corrects you in love, who forgives you, who invests in you and stays loyal when things aren't perfect, protect that man at all costs. Appreciate him. And stop playing games, sis. Because even the strongest man has a breaking point. And you know what? The biggest regret is realizing that you lost something that was real. You lost something that was valuable because you didn't value it when you had it in your hands.
Women are just never happy. This is actually something my husband and I talk about a lot. From his perspective, I can often come across as ungrateful, which is never my intention. The way that we now think about it is that I am always focused on the 20% that we don't have, and he's just more focused on the 80% that we do. And I don't think that one way is necessarily better or worse. I think that it's actually probably a good thing that we're both different in this regard. But I am often so focused on improvement and optimization in our life that from his perspective, it comes across that I'm never happy and never satisfied, which can be really frustrating, especially for him. And I always say it's not that I'm not happy, it's just that I'm ready to focus on that next thing we're gonna build or do or improve. And his response is, well, it comes across that you're not happy and not grateful. But I don't think this has anything to do with gender. I think it's just different personality types. Maybe the women you're with are just a little bit more like me. And would that be so bad?
Y'all, I really just fumbled one of the most sweetest men that I have ever met. When y'all come into these dating relationships, y'all really gotta have y'all shit together. Especially when you got a good person by your side, a person that's willing to deal with your bullshit. And when I say a person that's willing to deal with your bullshit, some of y'all gotta understand the difference between consistently causing drama and chaos in somebody's life and just the day-to-day BS that you got going on. So we have finally got to a space in our relationship where things was really going smooth. And because I had so much shit going on in my life and I did not know how to regulate my emotions, I ended up losing a good man. Not only that, my attitude, my mood swings was off the roof. And yes, y'all gonna say like, oh, well, that's what comes with being a girl. No, you need to learn how to control that. Because everybody is not going to want to deal with your attitudes and your mood swings all the time. Y'all, it really took me to be selfless and to understand that if I did not give our relationship a break, I would literally have been his downfall. If we stay together, I may be the reason why we break up and probably never talk again. And I could really sit here and take accountability for the simple fact that I was really the problem. And now that I know that, I'm going to work on myself because I know that I want this man and I'm going to get what I want. But I know that he deserves a better side of me. He deserves a healed, calm side of me. Ladies, it's okay to admit that you were the one that fumbled a good man.